times. But the next person up here is going to talk to you in a funny way and do some wonderful stand-up comedy. Once again, returning to our stage with less foil and maybe just as much paranoia. I don't know. The pint-sized tease is sure to seize you and then please you and make you laugh. Annette Coquette!
One, two, three. I'm the soundtrack for this performance. Hi. As you already saw, I'm a burlesque performer usually. But right now, I guess you could say that I'm following some old-fashioned wisdom in that they say it's good to step outside your comfort zone. In fact, I am proud to tell you that right now I am pole vaulting well past that pesky hurdle that is comfort. So, thank you for indulging me. If at any point I say something that you take offense to, I'm going to need you to go up to that fence, that precious picket fence, and I'm going to need you to, maybe you can gently lift yourself, maybe try to get a leg over, and just really kind of try to get over it. You probably think that it's a little bit scary coming up here and taking your clothes off in front of an entire room of strangers. Or worse, like half a room with like 3 strangers. And you're absolutely right. You'll actually find that every single performer ever, including, but not limited to, the performers sharing the stage with me tonight, all have some form of stage fright. And, yeah, truth. We're all cowards. But, like, to me personally, taking your clothes off isn't actually as scary as what I'm doing now. Talking to you. Or as it's otherwise known as public speaking. Did you know that public speaking is actually the 3rd biggest fear here in the States? You know what 2nd and 1st are? Snakes and death. You know, it goes death, snakes, public speaking. Now, this is according to a professor I had when I was taking public speaking in college. So, according to that guy, this is the 3rd scariest thing I could be doing right now. And that's definitely still completely true and relevant. So, here I am, publicly speaking. In fact, it is so scary that sometimes people will, try to give you advice on how to ease your nerves before your public speaking event. They'll say stupid things like, oh, just try to imagine the audience in their underwear. You can probably guess that, at least for me, this particular bit of advice is unhelpful. Especially because I can imagine you all in your underwear. And now you're taking my job, and we gotta fight. Also, you're beautiful. Thank you. But what I'm saying, it's kind of scary to come up here and then revel in this irony that I want you to laugh in my face. It's so ironic. So here I am, all alone up here, just like in life, because I'm an only child. Is anyone else an only child? And then I can reasonably guess that the rest of you all have siblings. Or had. But what I'm saying is that, so my mom decided to stop at 1 kid. Not because of the childbirth part, the most painful experience ever. No. She decided to stop because, well, she's an old hippie lesbian who decided to, conceive me the old-fashioned way. And frankly, she just had enough of that. So it's pretty obvious then that I'm not a part of the nuclear family. Because, as you know, the nuclear family is 1 mom, 1 dad, 2.5 kids, a dog, and a picket fence. Right. Now, I don't actually know these people, but I think I understand why they're known as the nuclear family. It's the 0.5 in the 2.5 kids. Now, mathematically, this just simply doesn't work. We have a handful of possibilities how this would happen. First off, we have one whole kid, another whole kid, and 0.5 kid. Or we have one whole kid and 1.5 Siamese kid. Or we have 2.5 Resident Evil monstrosity. And you know what? We're just gonna scrap that. We're just gonna get rid of that. And look at these first two options, right? So let's look at this 0.5 kid. We know that 0.5 is 1 equal half. But when you picture this kid, which half is it? Like, is it like the top versus the bottom? You know, a popular game on Grindr. Or do you suppose he's split lengthwise down the middle like a hot dog, and he's either just a left side or a right side? For this particular one, we'll just say that he's like a right arm and right leg, like he's the right side. We'll just say that he's all right, and we'll leave it at that, okay? And so we have this 0.5 kid, and I feel like by now we should probably give him a name, right? I mean, it feels proper. We could keep it simple, something easy to remember, you know. But let's call this kid Righty-Tighty. So we'll call this 0.5 kid Righty-Tighty, or maybe he's the 1 in the 1.5. And his left side here, the shoulder goblin, we can just call her Lucy because, you know, obvious reasons. Although, now we're getting back into Resident Evil monstrosity territory, so let's just scrap that again. But we have Righty-Tighty, and, you know, we call him Righty-Tighty because, as you know, with kids like this, the best thing to call them is names. So, I feel like, you know, the government tells me that this 0.5 kid is like an average family member that we all have. And of course, I'm a good citizen, so I completely trust my government implicitly. And like, but I don't know, I feel like something had to happen to this kid. Like, do you suppose it was like an accident where he was maimed and left bleeding on the sidewalk? Or, like the name nuclear suggests, do you suppose that he's just a radioactive defect? Yes. Now, we all have this family member, this kind of like embarrassing family member, I know.
Word. My brother.
Yeah. And like this is an average family member that we all have, but I'll be honest, it's been at least a couple of days since I've seen any 0.5 kids running around. Although to be fair, Righty-Tighty probably can't actually run. It's probably more like a skidder, like a Silent Hill demon. But what I'm saying is, I know with our embarrassing family members, we like to keep them locked away. We like to keep them like hidden away from, you know, the real people. I'll admit it if you admit it. Like, I keep my 0.5 kid, I keep him locked away in my bedroom because, you know, it's the bottom half. But like, Righty-Tighty's family, you know, they probably don't actually, they're classy people, you know, they don't actually let him inside the house. They probably keep him out back in the shed like you're supposed to. Yeah. Now, do you suppose Righty-Tighty is simply left behind a locked door? Or do you think they took it a step further and they have him chained to the wall with his one arm and his one leg just dangling? You know, if Righty-Tighty is in that situation, I would really argue that he's not all right. You know, I guess what I'm really trying to say here is that the average American family has a 0.5 kid locked away in their shed out back. And that's apparently how we keep America great.